Null steel was supposed to be the end of all engineering problems. The final answer to fragility. Forged through methods lost to time, it was universally accepted as the most indestructible material ever discovered. Civilizations built their pride around it. Warships. Vaults. Monuments. Entire doctrines of defense assumed one simple truth: null steel did not yield. It never bent. It never broke. That belief shattered inside Station Helios 9. Deep within the station's central infrastructure corridor, maintenance failure had produced a scenario no simulation had predicted. A 3-meter beam of null steel had slipped from its mag cradle during routine repairs and wedged itself diagonally across the main power conduit. It wasn't damaged. It wasn't deformed. It was simply stuck. Completely, catastrophically stuck. Commander Threx watched the countdown timer hover above the corridor entrance. 46 hours until life support collapse. His species, the Karth, were genetically engineered for precision, discipline, and protocol adherence. Every instinct he possessed screamed that this situation should not exist. Around him, the galaxy's best minds scrambled. Professor Quell, a gelatinous Blyan polymath with 17 advanced degrees, floated near the beam, her surface rippling with stress. Every advanced tool had already failed. Plasma cutters left no mark. Quantum phase disruptors refused to interact. Graviton shears collapsed under their own feedback loops. Even experimental reality modulation devices had simply powered down, as if embarrassed to try. "We are facing an absolute," Quell announced grimly. "Null steel cannot be cut, melted, shifted, or destabilized. Physics itself agrees." Engineers argued. Instructors blamed faulty assumptions. A Fenrari technician openly panicked. Evacuation was proposed, then rejected. Too many lives depended on that corridor reopening. The galaxy had reached its limit. That was when the human arrived. Jack Hale wasn't part of the emergency response team. He wasn't a senior engineer, a decorated commander, or a theoretical genius. He was a maintenance specialist. Grease-stained uniform. Coffee mug in hand. Average build. Unremarkable presence. He stared at the beam for a long moment. No scanners. No holograms. Just his eyes. Then he spoke. "Why don't we just move it?" The corridor fell silent. Not confusion. Not outrage. Pure, stunned disbelief. Professor Quell was the first to respond, and her tone carried academic offense. "Move it," she echoed. "Human, this material cannot be bent, fractured, or forced. It is null steel." Jack nodded slowly. "Yeah. I know." Commander Threx folded his arms. "Then explain how movement is possible without deformation." Jack took a sip of coffee. "I'm not trying to bend it." The silence thickened. Quell pulsed brighter. Any applied force sufficient to dislodge the beam would exceed tolerances. Jack sighed, crouching to inspect the angle where the beam had lodged itself. "That's only true if you're thinking about force wrong." The gathered scientists bristled. Physics projections flickered. Calculations scrolled endlessly. Jack ignored all of it. He stood, walked away, and returned dragging 2 shorter null steel rods and a structural brace. "What is he doing?" someone whispered. "Building a lever," Jack said casually. The word hit the room like a foreign language. "A lever?" Threx repeated. "Basic simple machine," Jack replied. "Rigid bar. Fulcrum. Mechanical advantage." Quell laughed, a wet, bubbling sound. "This station contains technology capable of folding spacetime, and you suggest primitive mechanics?" Jack shrugged. "You skipped a few steps." While the galaxy argued, Jack worked. He positioned the brace beneath the beam. Slid the rod into place. Adjusted angles by hand. No equations. No simulations. Just experience earned over years of moving things heavier than they wanted to be. This violates material constraints, Quell insisted for the 15th time. Jack planted his feet. Physics doesn't care about your pride. He pulled. For a moment, nothing happened. Then came the sound. A shriek like metal screaming at the universe. Null steel scraping against null steel. The beam shifted. 1 centimeter. 5. 10. The beam slid free and clanged harmlessly to the deck. Life support stabilized instantly. Someone fainted. Quell dropped her data slate. Threx stared, mandibles slack. Entire belief systems collapsed in real time. Jack stepped back, wiped his hands, and lifted his coffee. So, he said. About that raise. The footage spread faster than any official report. Across star systems and networks, engineers replayed the moment a human solved an unsolvable problem with a stick and a pivot point. Reactions ranged from disbelief to existential dread. Entire research institutes froze. On academic worlds, scholars reran simulations that now mocked them with simplicity. On industrial planets, guild leaders questioned budgets worth trillions. The Varani collective held an emergency consensus and reached a rare conclusion: they had overthought everything. The phrase, "what would a human do?" entered technical doctrine within days. Jack Hale became an accident of legend. He did not seek fame. He was reassigned instead. His old maintenance closet was renamed the Fundamental Resolution Office. Aliens lined up outside with impossible problems. Cooling systems that wouldn't activate. Structural misalignments no sensor detected. Mechanisms failing for no reason anyone could explain. Jack solved most of them by looking. With eyes. He found blockages no scanner flagged. Misaligned panels no AI noticed. Switches set backward. Valves installed upside down. Solutions took minutes. Why didn't the scan catch it, they'd ask. Because you didn't ask the right question, Jack would reply. Commander Threx fared worse. He began carrying a notebook of human sayings. Keep it simple. Measure twice. Check the obvious. He muttered them like prayers. Human history disturbed him deeply. The realization that humans had built monuments, bridges, and empires with basic tools shook his understanding of intelligence. The final breaking point came weeks later. A reinforced blast door refused to open during a systems test. Diagnostics showed no faults. Power flowed correctly. Override codes failed. Engineers argued for hours. Jack arrived late. He looked at the door. Then the sign next to it. He laughed. You've been pushing, he said. It's a pull door. Silence. He pulled the handle. The door opened smoothly. Civilizations reeled. In the aftermath, the Galactic Engineering Guild issued new protocols. Before deploying advanced technology, all teams were required to evaluate whether the problem could be solved mechanically. Simply. Directly. Human style. It was humiliating. It was necessary. Null steel remained unbreakable. That truth never changed. What changed was the galaxy's understanding of strength. Strength was not invulnerability. Strength was leverage. Insight. Knowing when not to fight reality head-on. Jack Hale never became a hero in the traditional sense. He refused promotions that pulled him away from hands-on work. He preferred problems that fit in front of him. Doors. Beams. Systems that failed because no one bothered to ask how they worked in the first place. Aliens still underestimated him. Until they didn't. The galaxy learned something uncomfortable about intelligence. Advancement wasn't a straight line upward. Sometimes progress meant remembering what you skipped. The simple machines. The obvious checks. The humility to admit complexity wasn't always the answer. Null steel could withstand planets. But it couldn't withstand a lever. And that terrified everyone. Because it meant the most dangerous force in the universe wasn't energy or technology or material science. It was perspective. Humans had survived their own brutal world not by overpowering it, but by understanding it. By bending rules without breaking them. By applying patience where others applied power. In the end, the galaxy didn't fear human weapons. It feared human thinking. Somewhere on station Helios 9, Jack refilled his coffee and glanced at a new message blinking on his communicator. Another impossible problem. Another simple solution. Just another day proving that sometimes the smartest thing you can do is stop trying so hard. And grab a lever.